Hello and welcome. Good morning. How are you all? I said I'd be back, and I'm back. Back straight away on this Sunday morning. Quite rare for me to be here on a Sunday, but I am. And said I would be building the Fire Dragons and Fuegan, or Fuegan and the Fire Dragons. One of my favourite Eldar models, and the star of the new Eldari Codex. So let's get straight in there and build some minis. Fuegan shouldn't take too long. Probably even quicker than Azurman or Azurman. And yeah, I've just released the unboxing of Fuegan, that video on the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed that, if you're able to watch it already. So let's crack on. Yeah, plan for today is to build Fuegan and these Fire Dragons, and then later on at some point, might be this afternoon, might be this evening, because I've got some other videos to make, is to build the Malcador in Furnace. From memory, I think the metal version of this model literally only had one piece. Well, two pieces. The actual Fuegan himself, and then his axe was a separate piece. Wow. Okay, so everyone saw that. I literally clipped it off at just the right place on the sprue, and it's one of these that has a fail-safe part that just disintegrates. So there you go. That's a great start. Don't think that piece has it though. Just there. We'll glue that with a bit of Tamiya in a bit. That's grenades. And yeah, we'll leave it there for a moment. Hello Lynx, how you doing? Good to see you here. Thanks for the support. Absolute legend. Yeah. I'm pretty good. We built Lycus or Lycus and Azurman last night in the stream. I'm enjoying these Eldar releases. There'll be quite a few live streams next week, and it won't just be the new minis. Like, I don't think I'll live stream the Warp Spiders and the Swooping Hawks. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'd like to, but I want to. The goal this week is to, because I've got some time off, is to complete the Thunderhawk live, and carry on painting the Nemesis. They're the two things I want to do this week. So we'll see how they go. Yeah, this banner's quite nice. Had a few games of Space Marine 2 last night with Max in. Oh, I think this piece has also got one of these parts that likes to break off. Yeah, had some fun on that. I think the PlayStation servers were down in some places, but I was able to get on, no issues whatsoever. And yeah, there was a very decent player that joined us. As they are they as fiddly as normal, Eldar? Well, I haven't built like the other aspect warriors yet, but Likis was a bit fiddly, a bit. I don't know. I think it's too early for me to give judgment. They're certainly not as fiddly as like Sisters or Adeptus Mechanicus. Wow. I mean, no wonder that broke off. The contact point there is just very small. That's to be expected. I'm not giving them excuses, but that is a very thin contact point. It literally broke as I clipped it off the sprue, and yeah, I'm not like, I don't give it blunt force on the old sprue and the clippers, but this one just did. It just exploded. Which is not ideal. Right, let's glue this back. I mean, that is likely going to come off again, but what can we do, really? Such a small contact point. Just got to be extra careful with it. It's a bit like some of the lances and spears and banners for other minis. At least this piece of Fuegan is kind of out of the way. Your first Malcador chassis? Oh, I thought you had loads. Yeah, if that's your first Solar Auxiliary as well, you'll find all of the tanks very good. Like I don't know if you've got the Basilisk. That's a very nice kit. Like with the sort of detail inside, and with the crew. The Lehman Russes are good. The Dracosan is good. Is this the Dracosan over here? Yeah, this Dracosan. So that's the chassis, isn't it, I think? Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, I might just paint my deathcore black. Although I'm leaning more towards kind of like a olive drab khaki kind of colour. Oh, nearly dropped that all over the joint. Okay, so that just goes in like that then. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have mine kind of mudded up, especially the vehicles. Possibly the Solar Auxilia as well. I mean, I think for me, the Solar Auxilia, I'll paint them all black. The Deathcore, maybe not. But that's the issue, because like if I paint the tanks will be black anyway, but if I paint the tanks black, then would they go well with sort of like a drab colour deathcore? Maybe. I don't know. I just like all the Astra Militarum and deathcore and solar to be uniform for me, sort of uniformed colours, so they match the Dark Angels. Oh, nice. That sounds good, Links. Just bear with me. Right, I am back. Sorry about that. Ooh. Baron, what's your opinion of simple minis versus ones with a lot of detail? Well, give me an example of a simple mini, like a Primera Space Marine. Is that a simple mini? And then something with a lot of detail, probably be like a Primarch. Yeah, that's... Well, you'd expect Primarchs to have a lot of detail because their armor and things is more ornate. Or are you looking at the point of view of like a Rhino compared to, I don't know, some kind of, well, like one of the new Solar Auxilia tanks or something? Or are you comparing like a Rogue Idol, which arguably doesn't really have that much detail, comparing that to like some of the new Soulblight offerings? Give me examples of simple minis and minis with a lot of detail. You've put some pics on Discord. Nice one. That's cool. Yes, Craig. Yes, Craig. Space Marines and these new Eldars look pretty readable. But as a new player, I find a lot more detailed minis a bit daunting. Yeah, no, you're right. I see what you mean. Like, you find pretty readable. Yeah. Well, I don't know about these Phoenix Lords. These Phoenix Lords, they're busy, but in a good way. As you say, readable. That's a really good way of explaining them. Especially like the Swooping Hawks are very readable. Fire Dragons, you've got your orange and yellow. But yeah, you compare them to something like I don't know, maybe it's not a good example, I don't know. Maybe you compare it to like Magnus, who has an awful lot of detail and is difficult to build. Yeah, you sort of compare that to, yeah. Definitely minis with a lot of detail are daunting. I agree. Tanks are all right though, usually, unless it's something like some of the Sisters of Battle tanks, like the Exorcist and is it the Redeemer? They have quite a fair bit of detail, don't they? Yeah, readable is a good way of describing them. I don't know. Maybe I suppose the readability aspect as well was when I was sort of growing up. Eldar to me seemed, oh, you've got like light green for the striking scorpions, and you've got yellow. Sorry, you've got orange for fire for the fire dragons, or you've got light blue for the hawks, or red for the warp spiders, or bone color, milky bone color for the howling banshees. Dire Avengers, you've got the, the dark blue. Yeah, it's a good way of explaining that. Now I've got to be careful with this piece because this is a piece with the part that broke. Luckily, that went on okay. Now I've got to understand how this goes on. So, slightly low, like there, possibly. I end up dropping so many things. Low. Yeah, that's low. Right, you can clip the final parts off, I think. So 10 and 11. 10 and 11. Got the axe. Very cool axe. We've got Seer Song, is it? The Melter Lance, Fire Pike. Got his head. And oops, nearly. You've got the base, which is a bit of a construction, I'll tell you that. 2, 3, 6 pieces to his base. It's almost like you're constructing a Stargate. 15, 16, 17. There we go. And that's him. That's him. That's all the pieces. So we'll just clean all of these up. And then we can start on those fire dragons. Just reading some more. Age of Sigmar, Orcs, and Skaven. Yeah, I guess so. Building a Redemptor Dreadnought was awful. Yeah, Redemptor Dreadnoughts are a bit of a project. I agree. They are a bit of a project. Unless you get like the easy to build one, which is about 4 or 5 parts, isn't it? Yeah. Did they stop making that? I think. I've got so many Redemptor Dreadnoughts. It's silly. It's just because they come out in some of the army sets, isn't it? I suppose. Anyway, I told Revan, because Revan was on last night, I told Revan that I would build the Eldar Corsairs and review them as I'm, building these Eldar. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Mountain Cow either. Into Deepkin. Yeah, I do like Deepkin. Again, a few of the models for Deepkin are a bit hit or miss, aren't they? I think for Deepkin. I mean, I like the sharks and the eels and the turtle. I wish the turtle was bigger, but I wish there was a huge turtle as well, like some kind of ancient one. That would be cool. I don't know. Maybe I just like Golden Axe from the 90s. You do ride on a giant turtle, don't you? On that, I think. I'm just getting sidetracked, so I want to just build the base just for a moment. Coral and seaweed, yeah, very nice. The release of Old World got you into Warhammer. So what did you pick up? You know, what have you started collecting from Old World? I mean, I would really like the box set, the game, but I've just got so much on. You know, 40k, Heresy, Age of Sigmar, sometimes a bit of Necromunda, the Adeptus Titanicus, or the Imperialis, although I don't think I've even bought anything Imperialis since it was released. And I really thought I would. Battlefleet Gothic, though, if they brought that out, I'd be all over that. You bought some Vampire Counts and Night Goblins. Oh, cool. Oh, that's fair enough. Sounds like a cool idea. Yeah, I think there needs to be more Traitor Guard, more cultists. In both 40k and Heresy. Such a big part with recruitment and things like that. I think, yeah, it's a shame Games Workshop haven't explored. It's a bit like Dark Mechanicum. I mean, we've had sort of glimpses of that with Imperialis, and hopefully we get some 28mm scale minis for both those factions, but I'm sure we will at some point. You know, we're always on that edge of wanting more and wanting new models and more detail, and you know, it's hard not to be impatient when they release so much. I mean, they've released all of this and Baharoth, and some repackaged kits as well, in like one day across the world. You know, so it's easy to get complacent with what they already release, while still wishing they would release more. It's like I would love to see them release, to have gone the full way with Emperor's Children, like they did with Death Guard. But I understand they're not like a 11th edition starter army, and if they put more resources into Emperor's Children and varied new, completely new models, then they probably wouldn't have. It would have taken them longer to refresh all this Eldar, which desperately needed doing, ever since the Howling Banshees and the Avatar. I'd like to think the more Eldar we buy and the more Eldar we support, the more chance would get like plastic Scorpions, Cobras, other variant of Grav tanks, as well as maybe even a plastic Revenant. That would be insane. The thing is, the Wraith Knight isn't that much shorter than a Revenant. If you go to Games Workshop, sort of HQ, and look at Warhammer World, they've got a beautiful Iandan versus Tyrannid diorama, which has some incredible minis. Yeah, no, I totally agree. But then also look at World Eaters as well with Khorne Berserkers. How long, you know, they were past boiling point. And then you look at Adepts of Sororitas, you know, with the Sisters of Battle. They were way past boiling point. So, you know, and it's a shame because, like, how many, you know, I'd like to do a survey where how many people would prefer refreshes of like Eldar and existing armies and things over like a completely new faction like Leagues of Votann, you know. Or, you know, either more Leagues of Votann minis or more Emperor's Children minis and Chaos Legion minis and, you know, Chaos Cultists and Traitor Guard. You know, there's so many minis and units that GW could create. Like all the Dark Mechanicum, Dark Mechanicus kind of siege machines and demon engines, and you know, there's a lot they could do. I'm saving the piece where I think there'll be most old lines to last, which is the that lance, the fire pike. I keep calling it a burning lance, but it's a fire pike. Yeah, I think so. I just think the sizes are a bit off now, aren't they, for Eldar? But yeah, some of them are very good minis. They're kind of future proofed with their aesthetics, aren't they? Yeah, that's not good, Baron, is it? Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, they should be supporting the games that they sell. Tell you what, I think this year is going to be very, very competitive for miniature of the year. There's so many good entries already. Well, yeah, don't be shy. Put down in the comments below what you're working on now, if you're painting, if you're building, if you're just chilling out, if you're working on your tanks. Krieg. Or your Death Riders. Come on, they're like the only Deathcore unit that didn't get sold out, I don't think. Right, last piece. Starter box set for Isn't Fancy. High Elves. Okay. Cool. Now I'm sad I never picked up War Master. You know what? Is War Master the like the epic version of Warhammer? I'm sure it is, right? If it is, they might bring it back. You know, I thought it was done and dusted for epic. And what they did is they brought it back in Adeptus Titanicus, and now they've got full ranges for Solar Auxilia, Mechanicum. You know, there's newer, different models in Imperialis than there is in actual Heresy in the 28 mil. You know, which I'd love to get in 28 mil. With the exception of the Wolf Warhound Scout Titan, because I'm never ever going to get one of those full size because it's just stupid. You're on dog duty today. Oh, nice one, Lynx. Nice. Thanks for sharing. You got a little companion then with you? Little furry companion. That sounds cool. Right, we're almost finished, Fuegan. I would have finished the metal mini hours ago. And the resin mini, if there was a resin mini. Was it in Finecast at some point? Maybe it was. I do have a few Eldar minis in Finecast and things. I'd like to probably review them with the new rules. We'll see. I want to review the Avatar again because it's such a cool model. Almost like looks like one of those kind of eggs. One of those is it Fabergé eggs at the end with all the writing? Or it looks a little bit like the glyphs from the orbs that you get on Jack and Daxter, if anyone remembers that game. Sorry for the nostalgia trip there. Yeah, no worries. See you later, Lynx. I'll speak to you soon. Oh, that's fair enough. What was the Warhammer Fantasy Grand Strategy game with the hex tiles? Mighty Empires. Yeah, I mean, I do like what's that video game called with the hex tiles? Is it French? I can't remember what it's called. I'd have to Google it. But I like that. That's quite cool. That's what that reminded me of. Anything with like tiles. Oh, I'm trying to remember it right now. Probably have to Google it. I'll kick myself when I remember. No, not Gladius. Epic Armageddon, no. No, it wasn't 40k base. It was just like a oldie worldy medieval type game. I played it so much, I think I unlocked all the achievements and then I played it some more. It was quite sad. I mean, that's your goal, to complete the game and collect all the achievements and things, but then once you've done it, it's like, you know, else is there to do, really? Unless it's got like good multiplayer, like or PvE, like Space Marine. You know. Yeah, that's bugging me. I'm going to have to Google it now. Well, I think this Seer Song is finished. Yeah, quite a few mold lines on the fire pike. All around it. So yeah. Overall, less mold lines than Lycus, but still, you'd expect that on the main weapon. Let me go and have a little look. No, not Steelers. Let's see. Game with tiles. Medieval. Carcassonne. That's it. I probably pronounced it wrong, but it's Carcassonne. Right. Okay. And I literally just went back onto my YouTube app, and it shut it down. Shut down the chat and all those kind of things. Not good, YouTube. Not good. It's all to force you to watch 2 unskippable adverts. Nothing to do with technology and things. Like they can do it. Obviously, you can swap from one app to another. No issue. But it is purely to get you to be advertised. Right. Sorry, I'm just going off on tangent. Yeah, it was Carcassonne. Metal models have mold lines. No, not nearly as much, Baron. Not nearly as much. And also metal models, as I said with Fuegan, two pieces. You know, 2 pieces that would take you less than 10 minutes to prepare metal Fuegan and glue him. This Fuegan has already taken me almost an hour. So by the time I've glued it together, that's an hour. So what, 5 times more? 4 or 5 times more gone. And yeah, it's it depends, doesn't it? If it's worth it, if the detail is worth it. The thing is, I'd like to know how much they would cost nowadays in metal, but then we kind of get a glimpse of that anyway, because they have these made-to-order metal minis now and again, and they're not that expensive. If anything, they're the cheapest. They're cheaper than plastic, cheaper than Forge World resin. Maybe their profit margin is the least out of their materials. But the combi kits, though, I think are still quite pricey. Where you've got plastic and metal, like some of those old world kits. I mean, I think I put this in right. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were going to build the base. Whoops, I got sidetracked again. So I'm guessing it just goes on these dents. There you go. Oh yeah, definitely. I agree there. They can be very, very fragile, and also repairing them is so much more of a lengthy process. Totally agree there. Yeah. I can't tell you the number of times I went to like a gaming club when I was younger and took some metal minis now and again because there were a lot of metal minis. I'm sure there were more metal minis than plastic back then, and the first sort of 10-20 minutes of any game, any gaming session was repairing your minis that had somehow been damaged or broke on the journey. Luckily, I didn't have to travel too far, but yeah. I'm not quite ready to put that on the base yet because he will go like so. I mean, I could put him on the base there, actually. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll glue him on to that. Okay, central. Very cool. And then put this burning Chaos Space Marine head there. How have they actually done that? I've done that quite far up. Oh. Well, I don't think they've quite done it joined, but it fits on there quite well. Like as a little addition. So I'm going to carry that theme. And then the old fire pike. Looking good so far. I think there's a dual attachment. Yeah, there is. So that goes in and around there. Oh, that goes in quite nicely. Like a glove. Very cool. I like that. Probably worth spending a bit of time just using a bit of thin Tamiya on these connections on the shoulders though. I'll go back and I'll file those shoulders a little bit. But yeah, very, very nice. Great start to the day. Great start to the Sunday. I suppose could be moved to the right a little bit. More centralized. Brilliant. Quite happy with him, how he's turned out. So yeah, we'll just do a little zoom in. There he is. Yeah, very, very cool. He is the poster child for the new Eldari Codex. Is he my favourite? I don't know. I do like Lycus. He's very close. If he's not my favourite, he's definitely very close to being my favourite. He used to be my favourite when I was younger, so yeah, there is that. Great start. What I'm going to do is kind of get the Fire Dragons prepped and ready. I'll just read a few more, bit more of your chat. I hope Katachans get the reboot. Then Talarmordian. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, it would be fantastic. It seems like they're going down that route, you know, with Cadia and Cadians and Sol Auxilia and now Deathcore. It seems like they are going down that route to, you know, to give us some more kind of human infantry and things. Some Astra Militarum, some Imperial Guard minis. Yeah, I guess so, Moxitron, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, like, I try not to be judgmental with people's pile of opportunities. Like, you know, they obviously had reasons for buying them or were bought them. Like, maybe they got them as gifts and things, or maybe they got vouchers and they just needed to use them. I don't know, but I try not to be judgmental. You know, treat others the way you wish to be treated. Really, you know, there's obviously reasons for that, and people will make up reasons and people will make up excuses for why they've got so many unbuilt, unpainted in my circumstances models. They'll just make things up, won't they? I think the key thing is what you can handle, like mentally. Some people just can't, and they project. A lot of comments and opinions are self projection, really. It's kind of like trying to put you down because of their own insecurities. But it's what you can deal with yourself. My excuse, well, my circumstance is that I run a YouTube channel with almost 4,000 videos. You know, that wasn't overnight. I had to buy things for the channel, and since I'd probably say since maybe 2015, 2016, like the start of Imperial Knights and was it 7th edition, 8th edition, probably 8th edition. I was buying things for the channel. So for the past, I'd say 10 years, a lot of my collection has been accumulated for the channel. Crikey. You know, if I had it my way and I didn't run the channel, I'd only have a few armies and they'd all be built and painted by now. But you only have a finite amount of time. And, you know, me building Sol Auxilia or deathcore means that I can't invest that time into, you know, completing a Thunderhawk or doing something, you know, for my own sort of collection, things like that. If that makes sense. But yeah. Right, so with these fire, I'm getting off on a massive tangent. But with these fire dragons, it looks like certain fusion guns go with certain arms, and you've got 6 there. So I'm guessing that any of those 6 can go with any of the bodies, which is nice. There's a bit of variety there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the weapons ready. We've got these odd 28.5 mil bases, but yeah. The great thing about these sets of 5 is there is only 5, so they're quite quick to put together. There's only 3 sprues, but you know, this is 40 quid now. 40 quid. That's a lot. It really is. You have to admit. Personally, my way, I'd have these at 20, and I'd take the loss. I'd have them as 20 quid, and I'd sell double. Who's going to buy? Who's going to spend 80 quid? Who's going to spend £80 on 10 fire dragons? You know. Yeah, it's we're at that breaking point, aren't we? I think, which is possibly why I enjoy making all of this content and the videos so much. It's because it gives you guys a look. See, that's one model done already. That's the fire dragon monument. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take off all the heads. So it seems like all of the fire dragon heads are the same, these 67s. So, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to use these 4, 3, 4, and then we're going to use this. We're going to get the helmetless heads because they are just going in the bin. No, they're not going in the bin. I don't put parts in the bin. We're going to put them to one side. Oh, there's another 67, so it gives you 5 of the same helmet if you wanted to have your Exarch as a normal fire dragon, and then your Exarch helmets are 66, which is technically a helmetless one. We've got 63, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. So it's out of these 3 helmets that I'm going to choose for the Exarch. Right, which one looks quite fancy? Oof. Which one did they use? I think they used that one. Yeah, I'm feeling the one with the that's blocked, but with all these gems, more than the other 2. Yeah, we're going to skip those 2, and we're going to have this one as the Exarch. Okay, let's get these weapons ready then. So 62, 61. 62, 61. I guess that's 39 and 38. 39, 38. 28 and 29. 28. 29. 47, 46. Okay, so still there's 6 different fusion weapon kind of poses. So that's really cool. So that if you did buy another 5 and you had them as standard fire dragons, it means that you'd have at least 2 of them with completely different sort of arm weapon poses. This one's actually cradling this weapon. I might use this 30 and 31. Yeah. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then final one must be on here. Is it 54? Or 16? It could be. No. Oh, apologies, it's all the way back here. It's 55 yet. So that's what we've got to play with. We've got these 6 fusion gun and arm. All of these helmets are the same, by the way. These are helmeted helmets, so they're going to be allocated to there. Right. We'll just basically make this one. Oh, maybe, sorry, Moxitron. I apologise if I got that wrong. It's just the way you said it. So maybe just change the way you say things or explain things. Because the way I read it, and again, it's open to interpretation, the written word. It's the worst form of communication. It's definitely, if we were having a conversation and it was face to face, we would have gained more communication through our body language than what's written down. The way you said it was like you were looking at you were judging their collections based on your own. Like that's the way it read. For you to make an assumption about your own, you would need to judge theirs in relation to your own. I don't think it's as black and white as I'm judging mine or I'm judging theirs. It's you've come to the conclusion about your own. That's how I read it. So if you didn't do that, then I don't know how to explain it though. I'm trying to help you out. Without judging. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to try and explain. I mean, I suppose you could just like mic drop it and say, well, I looked at other people's collections, and they seem to have a lot to do, and that's like your mic drop. You don't need to go any further. So yeah, it's pre-order weekend next weekend. I'll be getting mine from. Oh, nice one, Bran. I appreciate that. Absolute legend. Thank you for the support. Yeah, it really does help. It really does, because I think I looked on there and yeah, doesn't seem like many people have been using the code, which is understandable. If you've got it for like time, some of these pre-orders are quite quick to get scooped up. So I completely understand that putting the code in, even if you copy it and paste it, can take a bit of time if you're trying to get through the checkout so quick. Yeah. But thank you. It really does help, and it allows me to continue making this content. you know, I wouldn't be sat here today making as much content as I am without your support. So yeah, really, really good, really positive. Yeah, that was the most confusing part, starting out. Yeah, I don't know if you, because you didn't go on to, yeah, you didn't go on to explain how that was the most confusing part, and now it's not. So for me, just reading between the lines, it seems like you've reached the conclusion of why, or you found the knowledge of why they are expensive, because you use it was confusing to begin with, so it's now not confusing, because otherwise you'd say it's still confusing why. Um, so that's great that you've found the reason, even though you sort of didn't communicate it. I'm happy to communicate the reasoning, um, as to why. There's a number of reasons, really. Everything from the most obvious, which is they don't sell as many. That's a very, very obvious one. They're only going to sell one Fuegan to one customer. They may sell more. They may sell more than one box of fire dragons to one customer. So there's that. Then there's the whole point of, well, you know, Fuegan is one sprue, and technically, the fire dragons is one sprue. You can see they're all connected. Well, those two are connected. Oh no, they are all connected. Look, so that's the middle one. So technically, that's one sprue in the injection mold. So it kind of takes the same amount. And in terms of like actual plastic cost, it's negligible, between 3 and 1, and it's negligible with energy, electricity, all those kind of things. But the design, I think more design hours, and sometimes more hours, you know, in the CAD design is spent on like a single mini, with all of that extra detail. So because the costs are higher, for a single character mini, and they're going to sell less, they price them higher. Then there's the game aspect and the rules aspect, how they are way better, typically. So there's a little bit of that involved. Also, because they're selling fewer, it's going to take them longer to recoup their cost on all of the R&D and the designs for them. So they may recoup their costs eventually, they may not. That's the gamble with the single minis. You know, typically rules take longer to write for like one special character that has special rules and specific weapons and, you know, those kind of things, as oh well, there's 5 fire dragons and they're all equipped with this. Okay, right, we're done. They've got one special rule. I don't know about balancing and things. They say that is a factor, that they have to balance units and stuff, but I don't know. I guess they do, but yeah. I think that sort of explains it. Well, I understand the confusion, definitely. I think it's always been that case. Like, even me remembering my time in the 90s with minis, you could, back then, you could buy, I can't remember a box of 10 Space Marines being £8, but definitely I can remember them being £10 for 10 Space Marines, and you got, I think, 3 sprues, maybe 4. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But you did get a decent number of sprues and parts. You got so many spare parts, and and so yeah, so a box of 10 Space Marines, £10, and then like a captain was £8 or £9. So it was still cheaper for the single character, but one single character in pewter was like £8 or £9, whereas 10 was a tenner. So the gap then was smaller than it is now, and we've seen that with resin and plastic, resin versus plastic recently. How before Forge World resin minis were a fair bit more than the plastic, but now, you've got some resin minis which arguably have more detail than these Phoenix Lords, and they're a similar price, if not cheaper, for some of the Praetors. So we've now broken even with the whole resin and plastic counterpart sort of thing. So yeah, it's a fun debate. It really is. It's very interesting. Right, that's the little shrine. Russell, how are you doing? I haven't spoken to you for ages. Hope you're well over there. Hope everything's going brilliantly. Right, that's the little shrine. Try to get that as central as my eyes can take. So we've got a little shrine for Fuegan right now, and I think what are we at? We're at almost an hour and a half. Me sat in one position, so I think it's probably a good time to just have a little break and go grab a coffee. Then we'll build the Exarch. I'm not really feeling the one with the axe. It's just not. That one pointing is far better pose, I think. Even though I'm a bit avert to pointing fingers out, I'd rather have the Exarch like firing up that fire pike. But the one with the power axe and the dragon fusion pistol is just, it's a bit meh. Yeah, and also rules wise, let's have a cheeky little look at the old rulage. Maxim, how you doing? You weren't up late playing Space Marine 2 by any chance, were you? God, doing that will take it out of you, I tell you. Right, let's just have a look at the old fire dragons. There they are. Right, so Exarch Dragon's fusion gun is exactly the same as a normal dragon fusion gun, but it's Melter 6. The fire pike, though, is where it's at. It's Melter 3, but it's 18-inch range, strength of 12. The Dragon Axe is good, though. It really is. 3 attacks, weapon skill 3+, okay. But it's strength 6 and it's AP -4, damage D6. Yeah, the axe is good, But I think I kind of want to give it the fire pike. Don't they have grenades as well? Yeah, but what? They used to have like melter grenades or fusion grenades or something. But now they don't really have that. Okay. Well, yeah, we're going to go for the fire pike because it's a cooler looking mini, I think, pose, and it's strength 12, right? So yeah, not much time to paint at the moment. Sleep, job, sleep, and the weekend rest and video. Oh, okay, Russell. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, just go easy though. Take some time to rest, my friend. It's all right working all the time like I do, but then you don't get any time to spend the money or enjoy what you've spent your money on. So without spared no expense, I'm just going to go grab a coffee. So yeah, it was good, Maxim. It was good. Fusion bomb. Yeah, I thought it was a fusion bomb. Let's just read some more. Interlude music. Oh yeah, that would be cool. But no, I'm not live streaming from a gaming PC or anything like that. No. Yeah. Phoenix Lord was good to build. There was a lot of mold lines on Sia's song. It's Fire Pike. And I did snap off one of the ribbon things because just when I took it off the sprue, it just exploded off. So I had to repair that. That's fine though. Sometimes that happens. And the rest of it was okay. I might even like him more than Lickis. It's because everything about that Fuegan model mini just works. Whereas Lickis, it's just the sword. I can't. The sword just looks. Maybe it's lacking symmetry. Maybe it's just as simple as that. Anyway, no, I don't want to get copyrighted. It's just not worth it. YouTube copyright you for anything these days. So I'm going to go grab a coffee. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Yes, I'll be back very shortly. Okay, I'm back. Oh, what a day. What a day. Right. Okay, so, oops. Let's crack on then. I do have a little sweet as well, so I might scoff on a Belgian bum in a bit. So just to keep me going, you know. These Eldar, they really you need your high concentration levels, right? With these fiddly, pointy-eared, magic, fast, agile Xenos. Anyway, I should stop talking. Right, so we want the Exarch to be okay, shouldn't be too tricky. So number one. Number one. 8. Right, it's 5 and 6. That's pretty much it, really. Oh, you got a choice of chest plate. Ooh, we'll go for the fancy one, number 2. What's that? And we've got the power plant. At least I think it's a power plant. Oh, and then they're giving you like a little Eldar tactical rock. Ah, we've got the pointing hand and number 9. Got his little his little purse, his little man bag, fanny pack, and the pointing arm. Yeah, that was all right. And then 13 and 14. God, look at the size of that. 14 and 13. Fair number of parts, I have to say, for this Exarch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 parts. So then that means we also don't need the... Oh, hang on, we haven't finished. Wait, there's more. It's just the banner as well, yeah. So 13 parts. That axe is very cool though. I'm half tempted to put that on one of my other fire dragons, the metal ones. If it would work. Probably wouldn't. What's this piece? 26. Where does that go? Oh, that just goes on the standard one. Yeah. Okie dokie. Oh, you do you put that on there though? No, you put the pouch on instead of the holster. I don't know what would be in the holster anyway. You can't shove the Dragon Fusion pistol in there, so I'm just going to keep that sprue to one side just in case. But already we're building up a fair few parts. Okay. I think the coffee is done. might have needed a little bit longer. Today's coffee has been brought to you by the Legiones Custodes. Oh, stronger than it looks. Like me, I guess. Right. So I might change the blade. You know what? It's just getting a little bit dull. I was just thinking, like, I know I was talking a little bit about Space Marine 2 last night, and, you know, what would be the chances of you fighting against Eldar? Well, let me just flip it on its head and say, what would it be like being Eldar fighting against Tyranids? That would be very cool. We're not talking like a Guardian or something. We're talking about like a, well, similar how you pick your Space Marine, but you would pick like a Fire Dragon, or like for Assault a Swooping Hawk, or, you know, Dark Reaper as a heavy. That's what I was just thinking about just now. That would be quite cool. And instead of having a lot of health and a lot of armor, you were just twice as fast, or you were just like 1.5 times as fast. I mean, that would certainly help for people that like rolling and dodging. Like, you know, you'd have, there'd be a bigger number of frames, I guess, between like a sniper firing at you and dodging out of the way, or parrying maybe, or maybe like you could run around firing some of your weapons and it not really affect your movement that much. Like if you aim down your sight, you could be, you know, still moving at a decent speed. You know, so yeah, so I sort of flipped that on its head. If you could play as Eldar. I'm sure the PC community would have done a mod at some point which changes the skin of the Space Marines just to Eldar or something. I don't know, if I was to bring out an Eldar game in the same like engine and stuff as Space Marine 2, I'd probably call it like Aspect Warrior. And then you would just go through the campaign and you would follow the story of different Aspect Warriors. And I would probably have them fighting Tyranids. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'd introduce a few new things. And also, I mean, I've given them so many ideas here. They really should pay me. There would be a part where like a Revenant Titan has been damaged and the pilot has been maimed or something through a Tyranid psychic shockwave. I don't know, like, I just dislike Neurothrope so much. But maybe it's been damaged and like you're an Aspect Warrior and there's no choice to get through this part without hopping into a Revenant Titan, strapping in and taking control, and just that would be so cool. I mean, That's all right. You don't need to be an Eldar fan. You like what you like. Bit confusing why you're on a Eldar live stream, but you know. It is what it is. Maybe you just like joining us. No, you don't need to be an Eldar fan to be on a live stream. There's quite a few people that don't even touch Eldar that are here. Right, so that's the... Oh, 5 pack was quicker than I thought. Yeah, we're just going to build the Exarch and then focus on those 4 fire dragons. Oh, thanks, Dimitri. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, I'm not a Tau fan. I think some of their giant walkers and robots and sorry, like mobile suits and things are absolutely awesome, and their weaponry is so cool. And I like how the fact that they're like a new race, but yet they're already highly advanced for how young they are as a race. I really like all of that, but I just don't collect them. Like, I just haven't, you know, had the opportunity, chance, and I know that I would just mess up the color scheme. I mean, my favorite color is orange, and I just have to paint the Tau orange, wouldn't I? But yeah. You could be a fighting Eldar fan. Oh no, this has ended horribly for me. I'll just put that here, I think. Nom nom nom. Right. Let us complete this. You really like the look of the Eldar? But the prices are what stopped you from starting with them. What prices? Like, which particular minis? Because the Avatar for like £60 or something is lovely. The old metal mini was like 15 quid, but it's terrible. Well, it wasn't bad. It was just, it was too small, and it's just old as well. I like the premise of it, you know, with it kind of having a hand, you know, molten lava for blood, and a never-ending flow and drip of blood oozing from its left hand? No, right hand. But, you know, then when we got Dawn of War, it looked absolutely incredible. And then, you know, that just made me think, why can't we get such a cool mini to reflect that? And I was having a chat with Maxim last night about, and Stig actually, about how some of the units in like Space Marine 2 look so good and they're animated so well, that it really brings forward a growing appreciation for the miniatures that we have. Makes you like the miniatures more. Mechanicus, yeah, Mechanicus in that game is good. Mechanicus is brilliant. Very nice, very nice. What about Mechanicum? Like, will you be picking up any of the new Mechanicum calf? An Astra Militarum army for less than £350. Well, didn't you say something about eBay earlier? So I think price is negligible if you're bringing eBay up, because you could just find an Eldar army on eBay for next to nothing, probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right though. You've got to weigh up whether the looks of like an army like Eldar is worth it. I don't think that they are massively different in price. These £40 5-man woman sort of sets are expensive, but they are like elites. They're not like your basic troops. It's not like Guardians, and I think the Guardian set is very good. When they refreshed that a few years ago, because that's what you'd need. You need like a couple of Guardian squads, a Farseer or Autark, maybe like a Wraith Lord, maybe some Wraith Guard, and a tank. And it's nice that we get the Wave Serpent in with the Falcon now instead of two separate kits, but the kit is slightly more expensive because of that, I think. You only buy new kits on eBay? Well, I'm sure there's some new Eldar kits on eBay. Yeah, it's just when someone brings up the eBay point, at that point I just think, well, you can always hang around on eBay and get armies for whatever price you like, you know, or whatever price, you know, people are willing to sell them at. Yeah, and it also depends on like what army you're looking for, like whether you're looking for like a rule of cool aesthetic army, or you're looking for an army that is high performing on the battle top. You know, and then build that force around those parameters. Oh yeah, definitely, Baron. Yeah. I completely agree with you there. Best not to go overboard, and it's so easy to go overboard. Uh, I don't know. I think if you started with like an HQ and a troop choice, that would be a good building block. Um, I don't know about that. I don't know. I disagree about it being expensive more than other hobbies. Running is a hobby, and you don't need to buy a fancy pair of trainers. You could just buy a 40, £50 pair of trainers, and then after that it's free, really. Um, so it's either a new pair of trainers or a box of 5 plastic minis, which you'll also need to buy clippers, definitely. Um, maybe a hobby knife, maybe a file, definitely plastic glue and different plastic glues, maybe. Um, you'll need to buy spray. You'll need to buy either a couple of contrast paints or some paints. You need to buy a brush or two. Um, then, if you want to get into the gaming aspect, you probably will need to buy the codex or get the rules from somewhere else. Just put it that way. Uh, then you need to play with people. Like that might be transport. So you might need a car or use public transport. You probably need something to put the miniatures in to protect them. It does add up, you know. Um, but yeah, I know that's a bit unfair. Me comparing like one of the cheaper hobbies, and I'm not saying running is cheap. I'm just saying that like it can be cheap. It can also be very expensive. Like with running, you could buy yourself a smartwatch. You could buy really good running gear, £200 trainers, something like that. You could buy. You might want to listen to music while you're running. You might need to again travel somewhere to then run. So yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? Um, Another thing about the hobby is if I go the other way with the hobby and compare it to running and say, well, the hobby can be free. You could be gifted an army. Um, you know, upon someone's passing, bless them, or maybe they're just not into the hobby anymore and they don't want to sell it and they just want to, get rid of it. And you could inherit an army, and then it's all built and hopefully painted, and you don't really need to do much then. You can just appreciate it and, you know, play games with it, things like that. So, uh, yes, definitely get the Triaros and the Thalax. Yeah, they're really, really cool. I can't recommend them enough. Um, the Triaros is fantastic. That was my favourite kit. Castellex are good as well. Don't get me wrong. Um, and the Thanatar is good. I found the legs a bit tricky though to understand, but that's just me. Um, Good point, Baron. Yeah, Well, it's like motorcycling as well. Like, you know, I know a couple of fellow bikers that have more than one bike. They'll have like a roadster, they'll have an adventure bike, they'll have an electric bike to go around the woods. You know, they'll have a stable if they could. But then there's all the I kind of say like invisible costs, like the insurance and the MOTs and the servicing. And then there's the depreciation as well. You know, I think how popular an army is, how stable an army is, really affects its depreciation. So, like, put it this way: what's more popular, Astra Militarum or Eldar? So, yeah, you may have got a really good deal and saved some money off a Astra Militarum army, but if ever in the future you're going to sell that, because they're not, those models don't look as cool as you sort of kind of put it. Will they hold their value as much, and will there be as much demand for people to buy them? I don't know. Juggling, yeah, that's a fair point. You can pretty much, I don't know. I've seen 6 apples for almost £3. And I'm not saying that every juggler should just juggle apples. I'm just trying to think of things to juggle. How much are like proper juggling balls? Couple of quid? Um, I'm a pretty okay painter, even as a beginner. So I already sold some minis for a profit. No, you didn't. Sorry to break it to you, my chap, but you exchanged your time, which is the most valuable thing, and you know, you exchanged your time and your talent because you said you're a good painter for money. So although you got more money than you paid for them, there was an exchange there of two very vital things, which it sounds like you didn't factor in, because those two things aren't free. Like talent, you know, to be a beginner and be a very good painter is talent. That's remarkable. Because typically you usually get good at something with practice and repetition. You know, unless you've got like you're naturally arty. So that's very good. So that's actually worth more, I would argue, than someone that's spent years and years and years painting, because it's something that you haven't kind of taught yourself. You're just naturally good at it. And the second thing, the time aspect, yeah, that's valuable. And if you're a beginner, it's taking you longer, even if you've got natural talent. So as an experienced painter, that's going to take you less and less time. So you'll get, you'll break even, I guess. I don't know, Nigel. That's pretty extreme. Like, not everybody goes on tours. We don't have to go on tours. I could go out on the bike now and blitz it for a good few hours and only spend 10 or 15 quid in petrol. Probably tenner. But the initial costs are high. Don't get me wrong, like your leathers or your helmet. Yeah. Running cost like 10 quid petrol. But do you mean like maintenance and MOT? Guess things like that. Again, you don't have to go to all the motorbike shows. I mean, crikey, if we're going to go that extreme with motorcycling, we might as well say, let's go extreme with Warhammer and go to all the shows. It's not a competition. I'm not trying to, one up at all. I'm just saying that they both can be expensive. Oh, I agree with you about losing money on changing bikes. Totally agree. Is there any need to change your bike after every few years, though? I mean, I don't know. I like to, if I get a bike, I like to have it for as long as I possibly can. I'm not in the camp of just exchanging it for exchanging it. A bit like phones and things like that. I know people will change their phone every year or every 2 years. When all you really need is like a backup of your information and a new battery. It depends, doesn't it? It depends on wear and tear and how much you're using the bike, and But yeah, vehicles, unless it's like a really rare, unique vehicle, you're usually losing money, aren't you? But I agree with Baron that you typically don't with Warhammer, especially given if you've built it and you painted it and you've invested your time and talent into something. There should be, I say, as you say, a profit. You should get a bit more back from it. Yeah, definitely. Train spotting. I don't know, Moxitron. I don't know. I like this devil's advocate thing of throwing out hobbies that could be expensive, that could be free, and they turn out to be quite costly. So train spotting, you need a good anorak. I say you need a good camera. You don't have to have a GoPro or something, but I suppose you could use your phone. But let's factor in the phone cost for a start. There's your time again. That's the biggest cost, isn't it? Your time of traveling to places. You've got to be very punctual. So you might need a good watch, or just your phone. Again, it goes back to the phone cost. You've got to be in one place at a specific time, and then that means you have to be punctual and keep up with all the train updates, I guess. Where you're going to put all your footage from the trains as well, like if you're really passionate about it, you're going to store it on like your computer, so you need something like that. Yeah, we can all say that hobbies can be expensive, can be expensive as you want them to be. Like for instance, in my head I've always got this thought that people will only collect like 1 or 2 armies and that's it, which is something that I try and sort of reinforce, that not everybody is collecting and building up, things that I am. And the main reason I do that is for the channel, so that's my reason. But and so if you look at it that way, like say you collect Deathcore Creek, for instance, yeah, it's been expensive the past sort of few weeks, I guess, especially if you got the army set. And it will have been an expensive day yesterday. if you were going to get all of those things. But in like a lifespan of the next 5 years, if you're just collecting deathcore and you've spent like, let's just be conservative, like with all the glue, everything like that. Let's just say you spent 500 quid, right? That 500 quid over 5 years, it's 100 quid a year, less than 10 quid a month. You know, so yeah, from a point of view of like one army, over that amount of time, it's not too bad. But apart from like, you know, the cost of things, it's the value that you're getting out of them. Like you mentioned about the motorcycle tour and things, you know, however much that costs, you might get a huge amount of value from it. You might not get a huge amount of value from it. Like you might crash, or you might have your bike might, you know, malfunction, or something might happen, or the weather's rubbish. You know, so yeah, there's lots of variables. I don't think it's one's more expensive than the other. There's lots of things that are going on with it. Oh, hill climbing, hill climbing, bird spotting. Ah, that's an easy one. A good pair of big binoculars will set you back. And then if you want a microphone, like even going to see some bats, you I didn't know this, but you can actually get one of those. It's like a device that when bats are firing out their ultrasonic voices or whatever, it picks that up and it beeps quicker as they get closer, and you can spend a fair bit on things like that. Hill climbing, yeah, that goes back to my kind of running point with gear and equipment. I mean, I don't think many people go hill climbing without trainers and no clothes. And then if you want to listen to some music as well, maybe. And then you might want to take pictures at the top of the hill. You might want to measure your elevation with like a smartwatch. I mean, there's so many, you know, so many things. Bat box. Bat box, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. A bat box. You know that you can get like an app as well on like your iPad or phone, that does a similar thing. That's quite cool. Yeah, bats are very, very important for the countryside. They eat so many bugs and insects. It's crazy. A bit like how bees are so important. All right, that's the strength 12 hot rod cleaned up. If I'm going off on one, it's just because I'm high on caffeine and sugar now. So yeah, don't take anything I say sort of personally, or it's not a dig, or you know, I'm just chatting, just joining in with you guys. Okay, so you know that surely by now. You can handle it. It's YouTube at the end of the day. You know, it's not Twitter. Right. There we go. What chapter would Batman suit? That's a really good question. It's got to be Night Lords, right? I mean, I'd like to say Raven Guard, but Batman has a concealed Batman. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Baron. Yeah, with Age of Sigmar though, their sculpts are gorgeous. They really are. I I do prefer them to some of the 40k stuff, but then you look at this 40k stuff and it's like, wow, this is really cool too. But yeah, it's almost like Games Workshop give the AOS sort of design team a complete blank canvas in a way. And I think I've heard like the sculptors and designers say something like that previously. Like they said something like, "Oh yeah, just design and sculpt these minis, and then we'll put the rules in afterwards." Whereas I think, unfortunately, for 40k, it's a lot of. Is it a Space Marine? Okay, right. Nope, get out. No. It's almost like, how much money will it make us? How much will it cost to create? When are we going to expect to break even? I kind of get that kind of vibe sometimes. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, not like the old Fulgrim. Wow, it did it again. That's fantastic. Literally, if you go off of the YouTube app onto anything else like Explorer or anything like that, instead of running it the YouTube app in the background, it completely closes it down so that you have to completely open it again to watch a video, and that's completely Google's control. Just a heads up. Yeah, sorry, I was on a talking point about Fulgrim Zoolander model. Fulgrim Lander. Zoogrim? What works best? Zoogrim. No, full Lander. Fulgrimander? It's hard to make a word out of those things. Anyway, it's going to be a fun mini. Connect 4. Ooh. Well, Connect 4. Raven Guard, yeah. Noise machines should be allowed guitars. Yeah. Noise Marines should have like amps on grav plates falling behind them, or on little tracks next to them, or something like that. I would have loved to have seen something like the Plague Burst Crawler, but for Emperor's Children, with a big old speaker system and things. You know, with just blasting out just horrific music. I'm not going to say what music, but yeah. Insert your most obnoxious sort of music here, I guess. Connect 4 though, yeah, you'd need to buy Connect 4. You'd need to have a friend. You can't really play Connect 4 with yourself, can you? So you need to buy a friend. And if you can't buy a friend, if you don't have a friend, then you're going to have to buy one of those Elon Musk robots, which are going to be about $30,000. So even Connect 4 can be expensive. Right. That's the pointy arm. Then we'll put his bum bag on. Noughts and crosses. Again, you're probably going to need someone to play with. If you don't have anyone to play with noughts and crosses, you're going to have to buy a decent size aquarium with an intelligent octopus. No, they're all quite intelligent. Just an octopus, and then you're going to have to buy the markers to put on the tank, and then you know, the cost of running the tank and things. Yeah. Battleships, you're going to have to use real life battleships and cruise missiles, things like that. That's the only way to play it. You were disappointed in Fulgrim too much, like the Age of Sigmar, and chose. Oh yeah, the Marathi model is so nice. It really is. That's what I was expecting Fulgrim to be. Was just Marathi but with wings. Instead we got Ben Stiller. Sorry, it just makes me laugh. Part of me thinks that they purposely made it like that so that people would pick up the Forge World one. Like, I know I've got a tinfoil hat on the size of a battleship, but still, come on. I should have put the bum bag on first. I should have. This is going to fail. Yep. Okay. The plastic part, it chooses to either stick onto a place where there's plastic glue, or it chooses to stay on my thumb. What could possibly be the outcome of this? It's not as bad as super glue, because super glue naturally wants to stick to your fingers, and because it just, you know, bonds with the moisture that's on your fingers. And then you think, oh, my fingers aren't that wet. Well, apparently they are. Right, let's have this fire pike thing. Please tell me this is a plug and socket. Oh, look at that. That is just disgusting. No, that is tough. If anything, there's more of a incentive for smaller thin minis like the Eldar to have plugs and sockets, not like your Primaris or tanks. No, maybe I'm just being a baby about it. Oh, sorry, there's more. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, been live streaming almost 2.5 hours. We're getting there, though. We're getting there. What I might do is just, while that's sort of setting... Oh, head just popped off. Wasn't expecting that. I should have been, because I know I didn't glue it. While that's kind of sorting itself out, I'm just going to clip all the parts off for the others while we're here. Right, so 32, 35 and 36. 433. Yep, I found that. There's a little pouch. Reading a book. You have to go through the education system, which might not cost you anything as a child, but someone would have had to have paid for that for you. And then you kind of expected to work, pay your bills and things. So you are then paying the rest of your life, if you're working all your life, in taxes towards the education system that did educate you and teach you to read. And that is a requirement for reading a book. I mean, you could have said audiobook, but, or you could have said having someone to read a book for you. But yeah, if you're reading a book, you need to understand the language in which the book is written. Unless it's a picture book or a pop-up book. But are you reading a book if it's a picture book? That's a good one. That's a good one. But you still need to earn money to buy the book, unless someone's given you the book. But then they would have bought the book. And have you seen how much Black Library books are now? Sorry to open up that old wound, but I heard they are £22. £22. Hey, I mean, Dan Abnett's pension isn't going to pay itself, okay? His state pension just will not be enough. It won't be enough to cover it. Hold on, did I just cut those grenades out, which were meant to be for the next fire dragon? Yeah. Right, 43, 44. I was getting ahead of myself then. The wings and face are better. What, of Marathi? Or are you talking about the 30k one? Yeah, I think you're talking about the 30k one, aren't you? Yeah, the face is really good on the 30k one. Did I get the leg? Yeah, I got the 2 legs. 41, 42. Yes, well said, Nigel. Yeah, well said. Yeah, it goes back to my my point about time being your most valuable commodity. I mean, audiobooks are good, like if you can engage, and it depends on what you're doing. Like I could listen to an audiobook like walking around or walking on a treadmill or something. But yeah, like in the gym, like picking things up and putting them down again, or bombing it on a run or something, probably not. But it does give you an alternative to actually physically holding a book, which is cool. And in the car as well, like if you've got a long commute, I think they're good, aren't they? Have I missed a page? think I kind of have. Whoops. So that's that, and then we've got the chest plate, which is 49, this one. Uh, 53. I like that there's a little Warhammer symbol on there now. That's quite cool. And you just noticed that. It's probably been on every sprue last year. 56, 59, 57. Oh, it's the other leg that I was missing from that one. Fifty-six, 57, 59, 60. 58. 53 was also on that one. Whoops. Good. Jolly good. We're storming through these. Not sure your wife would allow an audiobook in the car. She just about allows the hobby. Hey, look, you know, my opinion on things like that is it's good if they can tolerate it. It's even better if they can encourage it. And if you're with, I mean, hey, you're married to her, so you know, you've already made that decision. But you know, I think it's great when a partner not only sort of allows, well, I think a partner should encourage you to seek enjoyment out of the things that bring you happiness, surely. I guess it should be reciprocal. The problem nowadays, though, is, you know, what hobbies do they have? Basically, it boils down to it. And if they don't have any hobbies, then, you know, it's a moot point, surely. But if they do have a hobby, you know, support them with that. That's my take on it, anyway. Supporting each other with things that give you happiness. But yeah, you shouldn't have any negative feelings attached to something that you love or you're passionate about. You know, because it's the thing that brings you happiness and joy. And if you're starting to get negative feelings towards it, then you're not going to enjoy it as much. And you know, no one really should have the right to make you feel like that. Really. I mean, there's things about being realistic. Like, I mean, you know, if you're about to walk out of Warhammer World with, you know, 2 Warlord Titans under your arm, and you know you've also got bills to pay, then yeah, you know, that's probably a little bit justified. But yeah, if yeah, I think in the car though, it's a bit, yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's like a shared space in a way, and there's not really any escape. Sounds a bit odd me saying that, but you know where I'm coming from. Like, you know, and especially like if you're really enjoying the audiobook and you get into it and you don't want it to end, it would be tricky to sort of turn it off and pick it up another time. Not like music, where it's sort of, you know, if there's a song that comes on that you don't like or you can't tolerate, then it's, you know, it's over in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. or you can just switch it off. You're not really missing anything. Whereas an audiobook is a bit more engaged. It's almost like you're listening to a film that lasts hours and hours and hours and hours, isn't it? But yeah, quiet life is best. You'd love to recruit her as a painter, being good at art. Yeah, this is brilliant. Well, that's good. It's good that she's creative. So she's never been tempted to sort of use her creative flair on a miniature. Bunch of flowers per squad painted. Now we're really talking about expensive hobbies now. Buying flowers. Cool. Flowers that last a few days and then they're gone. But I guess that's part of appreciating them. You don't appreciate it because it lasts forever. You appreciate it because it doesn't. It's just there for a fleeting moment, like life. God, that turned into quite a philosophical statement, didn't it? I blame the coffee. Dancing. Okay. We're not talking dad dancing. We're talking publicly acceptable levels of dancing. So for that, you need dance lessons. They're not cheap. You'll need some good music, maybe a good sound system, or you need to travel to a place that has a good sound system. You have to travel and spend years at dance school. So yeah, dancing can be. You'll need some proper dancing shoes, nice outfits. You need a dancing partner. Again, refer back to my comment about if you don't have anybody to dance with, you're gonna have to buy a $30,000 Elon Musk robot that can dance, or a Boston Dynamics one. I think they might be more than 30 grand though. I'll shut down the opinion of breathing. I don't really think breathing is a hobby. I think it's a necessity. But if you're going to view it as a hobby, like in terms of I want to breathe really fresh, clean air that's a high percentage of oxygen and maybe it has a slight aroma to it, then you're probably going to need another planet. I don't think they sell planets at the moment, so you would have to fund a crusade or expedition to a planet, thousands of light years away, and it might already have Xenos on it. So you're going to have to perform an exterminatus. You're going to have to buy and cultivate a whole army, legion of super soldiers, genetically enhanced, of course, to purge a world and then have it terraformed, so that you'll have nicer, cleaner, fresher air to pursue your hobby of breathing. So that's very expensive, I would say, breathing. Mm. Because you could take the slow route, but the slow route takes what, billion years or so. No, I don't think it quite takes a billion. Quite a few 100 million years ago, started breathing. And would you classify? Is it breathing in our terms, or is it breathing in aquatic terms? Because that's further back, isn't it? Anyway, going off on tangents. Morning, Dan. How you doing? You thought I was talking about breeding at first. Terraform Mars. Yeah. But the issue with terraforming Mars is because its gravitational pull is a third of ours. So if you're going to create an atmosphere, you would probably have to do something with the gravity to keep, because that's the whole reason why Mars doesn't have an atmosphere anymore, is because it leaked into space, because the gravitational pull wasn't strong enough to keep its atmosphere, you know, around it. So yeah, maybe the terraforming process involves creating an atmosphere that is denser, that, you know, can work with the low gravitational pull. I don't know. I don't know if any smart people have thought about that. I think at the moment it'd just be an achievement to get someone to Mars, wouldn't it? But then there's the whole point of, you know, spending all that money and all that resources and time getting people to a different planet, when there's so many things to sort out here, really. You know, and I'm not just talking about £40 for 5 minis. I'm talking about £22 for a hardback. I'm joking. No, it's not. It's not so much the cost, is it? It's the whole value point of sending people into space, and, you know, it's the message, isn't it? It's what that signifies. Making paper aeroplanes. Okay, right. That's a good one. Paper was first invented. Was it invented? Well, anyway, it came from, the word paper came from papyrus, which is obviously from ancient Egypt. So there's the time aspect of it, that you in order to make paper airplanes, you had to wait for paper to be invented, and that goes back a few thousand years. And then you would actually need, so you need to know what paper is. You need to then get paper and make paper, which of course is from wood. So you'd need to grow some trees, which again takes time, probably money, cultivate them, harvest them, turn them into paper. Then you'd have to have a basic knowledge of angles and maybe geometry, and aerodynamics. That might need some education for those things. And also, you know, you said making paper aeroplanes, as in more than one. So you're going to have to do loads of testing, probably in wind tunnels. Wind tunnels are expensive. There's a cost of all the failed experiments as well. Yeah, that could get quite costly. Traveling around the world as well. You'd need to travel around the world to test your paper aeroplanes in different atmospheres and humidities and wind speeds. So yeah, making paper aeroplanes could be an expensive hobby. You probably need to buy a skyscraper as well to get to the top of, to launch your ultimate paper aeroplane, to see if you could get like some kind of achievement for launching a paper aeroplane and it going all the way around the world. That would be quite cool. Watching a sunset, is that a hobby? Is that a sanctified hobby? Sunset watcher. Watching a sunset, I guess it's something that you can do, and maybe it can become a hobby. But yeah, again, this goes back to you'd need a sun. So if you haven't got a sun, it's not really possible. Can you buy a sun? Not that I'm aware of. So it really, also it take millions, hundreds of millions of years for you to evolve and to evolve eyes, specifically ones with rods and cones. And I would say you'd need clothing and maybe some shoes to go somewhere to watch a sunset. And if you could say, well, I'm watching it in my own house, then you bought a house to watch a sunset. You might want to capture the moment with a camera. It'd be too windy on a skyscraper. People do spot trains, yeah. But again, you need a phone, you need a watch, you need a camera, you need a good anorak. You might need the internet to know where the trains are at what times. Just being an outdoorsy person. Yeah, could you have like, that's my hobby is being outdoors. Was that like being an outdoorsy person? Is there a name for that? A rambler, hiker? How many of those actually watch sunsets though? That's the other thing. Good, some very good suggestions though. Yeah, we were discussing. We've been discussing it for like an hour. Like expensive hobbies and things like that, because we were discussing earlier about motorcycling's expensive. It can be more expensive than Warhammer and vice versa. And yeah, we were just listing off hobbies that are expensive or are free. And yeah, I am just being silly. There's quite a few free ones. But I raise a valid question. Do people enjoy them because they're free, or is that part of the enjoyment? And then there's the whole kind of physical hobbies or experience hobbies. Like, what do you value more? Do you value actually like achieving something physically, like building or painting, or a project, or the experience that if you don't continually recall that experience in your own head, memories, or through like a camera or pictures or video or something, then does your appreciation of that kind of free hobby experience dwindle? Whereas I guess Warhammer or some hobby similar to this, you kind of constantly reminded of it if you've got a collection. No worries. See you, Maxim. Have a good one. You like fishing? Yeah, fishing can be expensive. Yeah. I used to fish for a couple of years. But for me, I really liked looking at all the gear that you can get. I wasn't a big fan of like the bait, but maybe because I use like live bait instead of like lures. I can't even say it. Right. We should be able to. What I actually wanted to do from last night, to be fair, is just file this down. Most annoying part of Azuman, but we've almost finished the fire dragons. We've just got to file all of those parts down and then pop them together. And then I will skedaddle, get some fresh air and things, and I'll be back later on this evening, where we'll be building the Malcador furnace. That's what I wanted to finish with that. Yeah, well said, Nigel. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, good point. Drawing, drawing with a stick and is that actually a hobby, or is that just something that you enjoy doing the most, Moxitron? I mean, I don't really think it's a hobby. No, it's like breathing. Like I said about breathing being a hobby. I mean, you'd need. What's this? Is it? Oh, in the mud. Okay. So, like, if you lived in a desert, you wouldn't have mud. So, yeah, you could draw a lot. You could draw with a stick in a desert, but you specifically said mud. So, if you're in a desert, you're going to have to ship mud to the desert. And there might not be any trees. There might be a stick, but usually sticks come with trees. So, you probably have to ship some sticks over. So, yeah, drawing. Or if you lived in like Greenland or somewhere, or just Antarctica really, where there's no mud or sticks. Again, you'd have to ship all that over. I'm being so pedantic, I know. But it's part of the fun. Right, what we're going to do is, I think, glue his arm on. This could end very horribly, mainly because it's a flat piece. And then we're going to risk it. bottom should... Right, so already I've screwed that up. Yep, that was the wrong way around. So we'll try this again. We're just going to have to deal with this if it's at the wrong angle. There are mud in the oasis, though. It's a good point. Yeah. But the chances of you finding an oasis, like, you probably need a little expedition. Maybe buy a camel or two. You could play Warhammer with rocks. Yeah, imagine that, going to Warhammer World. Opening like a really nice case, and then you've just got rocks with faces on. Yes, this is my resin Custodes army right here. I see your point. I see your point. You could play Warhammer with rocks. You'd still need dice, though. And a measuring stick. I mean, what are dice? Rocks? Proxia is best. You always worry about if I should do sub-assembly to paint easier. It depends on the model. Some models, like the resin Primarchs and things, they are, you know, they've got like capes off and things like that. I typically build most of my models, though, with the exception of some of the Knights and Titans and Primarchs. It's just easy for me to review. You see, I think that model would have been better if they really did have the fire pike resting on the rock, but they haven't got it resting on the rock, which I'm a bit sad about. They've got it like nestled near the rock. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, so let's pop the head in. He's like, don't make me pop your tank. I will. I will pop your tank, sir. I'm pointing at you. Yes, you in the golden Land Raider. Don't think you're safe in there. I've got the ultimate tank popping weapon here. And I won't think twice to pop your tank. And then all of your Terminators will have to run out crying. Lovely. Nice Fire Dragon Exarch. Well, Fuegan is no longer lonely. Mr. Lonely. He's now got a little apprentice. Fuegan and Fugie. Right, so onwards and inwards. So these are the 6 fusion guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4 minis. So we'll be speed running this. We'll be filing these down, and what I'll do first is I'll file the bodies, feet, packs, all those kind of things, and put them on the base, and then at the end I'll file the weapons and the heads. So if I just put the heads where the weapon, well, if I just put the heads over here so that I know where they are. The heads and the weapons will go on last, but yeah, I'm just going to pop away for a moment. Just need a quick comfort break, just to walk around. But I will be back in a moment. Oh, sorry, I'm reading your questions. Is it hard to put together a Warhound? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. The Reaver Titan is the hardest. Then it's the Warhound. Then it is the Nemesis, then the Warlord. I think the Warlord's the easiest, actually. Yeah, just because the knee joints are so good. But the hip joint can be a bit of a pain, like when you put the body onto the hips, whereas the Nemesis hip joint with the dome, that's better. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent about Titans, but I'll be back in a moment. Bear with me. Okay, I'm back. Right. Doing well with the Ozone Fly Dragons. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to live stream tomorrow the Warp Spiders and Swooping Hawks. Yeah, let me know. Thanks, Vanilla. I appreciate that. What's the hardest part on the Warhound? Probably the legs and the hips, like, you know, because it's kind of like reverse jointed. That's quite tough. It's also an older kit, so the instructions are crap. They're not really instructions. They're just, you know, 4 pages of black and white pictures of the model. Yeah, they're just, I don't know if they've refreshed it, like they've refreshed the quality of the resin. I know that my Reaver that I picked up, that was refreshed resin, so that was nice. But again, the instructions are rubbish, and the Reaver is the hardest one. But the trade-off is it's a very cool model, you know, and it is a centerpiece as well, for a lot of people, a lot of armies. Yeah, no worries, Nigel. Have a good one. Speak to you soon. Tips and tricks for the Warhound. Wash all the parts thoroughly with warm soapy water, like let them sink. I've got some videos of the Warhound anyway in the playlists, like how to work with resin and things like that. So I would just go and watch those, because they're, you know, they're very useful. And I built a few, so I'd like to think that I know what I'm doing. But there's always surprises. Work on the pose that you want to go for first, like plan ahead. Dry fit everything with blue tack. If you're getting the itch to finish the Warhound, just prepare and create the weapons first and paint them first. Magnetize things, like if you can magnetize the head, that's good, like the top part of the head. Magnetize the weapons to the shoulders, magnetize the body to the hips. Just don't cheap out. Don't like glue everything. Take the time to find the magnets you need and magnetize it. It's an expensive model. It deserves a lot of your time. You've already spent a lot of your time earning the money to buy it. Why cheap out now? And just super glue it all together and then spray paint it and then spray paint the metal and do a bit of detail and then you're done. I mean, that's just a waste in my opinion. I do have a Discord, Moxitron. Do you want me to put it in the main chat? Hang on. The thing is, I'm gonna put it in the main chat, and then I'm gonna have to load up YouTube again. Where is it? YouTube links. Here we go. Discord. Wow. Okay. So what happened here then? You used to be able to... Oh, there we go. Copy that. Load up YouTube. It completely shut down the stream. Then I load up the stream again, get a sponsored ad, unskippable. This is all Google. This isn't anything to do with you know, they've got complete control over that. So it's quite sad, really. Okay, go into settings. Change the quality back to 144. And then, oh, you just joined it. Okay. Well, if I just paste it, there you go. And then if I pin it, pin message. There you go. That's done it. I had to do that all you know. If only there was a plastic Warhound Titan. Nah. I mean, you know, people already balk at paying £400. People balked at paying £250 for it. So people are definitely not going to buy it if it's like £350. Yeah, so that's why. And also, I don't know about you, Baron, but I've spoken to the designers of the Titans, and they gave me some pretty good reasons. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, it's an iconic unit, but you know, it is costly points wise. So I think a lot of people would just buy it to collect it as part of their, you know, and I think there's a large number of people that buy these models to play. That's what I read in the comments. Like, they're always asking me, oh, how is that competitive? Or, you know, I wouldn't use that in a game, or, you know, and it's, oh, don't get me wrong, it can be taken out in a game and things, but we're talking on, like, trying to use a Warhound Titan on a standard size gaming board. Well, there's your problem right there. Like, I would never use the Nemesis in game because I would insist on playing in a 26-foot hall because of the volcano cannon range and things like that. It would have to be pretty accurate. I'm not going to be playing a game with a Warhound Titan on a 48 by 24 inch board or something. That's just, yeah. You deserve your Titan to be absolutely destroyed if you're putting it in a place like that. So just because you've got these units and things doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use them or play them. I understand people's value point of view that they want to use them in game because they are pretty cool, but it just undermines it if you're playing on a smaller board and things. Nice one, Moxitron. Nice one. I thought you had joined the Discord, my friend. I thought you had joined it because you've been in these live streams now and again for a while. Now I'm looking at why I have 2 chest plates. This seems a bit odd. That's one of the chest plates is for that one over there, which it probably is, to be honest. I guess they're compatible. Got to be compatible. Why would some chest plates not fit with other bodies? Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the warp spiders would take some time, and the sweeping hawks. I think both of those kits will take longer than these fire dragons. It's mainly their weapons, I think, that would slow it down. Oh, you see, this one's got pouch already sculpted on. All right, cool. 2 more to go. So this one. Yeah, grenades should go there. I think. Oh, completely forgot the chest. Not like me. I think it's a good idea to go over them again with the Tamiya on the lines of the shoulder pauldrons. Just move this chair a bit. Let's put that back out. We're storming through these now. Yeah, I will get that Eldar Combat Patrol. I don't know if I've ever had those new Dire Avengers, so they will be a welcome addition to Azuman. Yeah, the thing is with just going back to Horus Heresy, just while I'm thinking about it. The thing is with Horus Heresy, now that the Arvis Lighter is out in plastic, it kind of puts the the shutters on any Horus Heresy resin mini. What I mean by that is, it was originally released in resin, then they refreshed it in resin, and a very short period of time elapsed from that to it becoming in plastic. So when you're looking at all of the other resin tanks and things that they've released that are older than the Arvis Lighter, that are arguably more popular, you're thinking, I'm just going to hang around. I'm just going to wait for those things to become in plastic now, because if the Arvis Lighter can, a lot of those can. And yes, I'm even putting in the the Fellblade and the Falchion and things in that description. I'm very glad that they were announced the Karachnos in plastic, because for me, I really predicted that they would do that, so I'm happy about that. It seems a waste for them not to build on the you know, try our Ross kit. Nah, don't think so. If anyone has Space Marine 2. Yeah, I'll be playing Space Marine 2 later on. After the Infernus live stream, I think. It was good fun last night. We didn't have one mission fail. I think we're going to try lethal. We're going to try and complete the lethal ones. The enjoyment though for lethal dips considerably, just because I don't like taking an awful lot of damage, and I also the biggest thing is that the enemies are such bullet sponges. They take so much damage to kill. You know, the parry windows and block windows are still the same. It's just they're complete bullet sponges, so the whole mission just takes that much longer to get through. But at least we killed the Hive Tyrant on lethal, so, and I think she's the hardest boss by far. I say she's overpowered. I really do think she is overpowered. Still, it's because of all the attacks and things that she can throw out, as well as the ads. You know, the extra enemies. Yeah, I agree, Creek. Yeah, I forgot you were still here, my friend. Sorry, man. Yeah, it would be good to get them and the Xiphon Interceptors and the Fire Raptor and the other one. I've forgotten the name of. Storm Eagle? Okay. We are cooking. Oops. Spoke too soon. Right, so now we've just got the weapons and the heads to clean, to prepare. And then we are good. Oh, no worries. You can't run it yet. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, I just wish that the old Space Marine 1 would run on like my Series X and PS5. I think I don't know if the license ran out or whatever, but you know, when I put the disc in for Space Marine 1 into the Series X, it just doesn't work. They definitely missed a trick there of Microsoft and PlayStation with the amount that Space Marine 2 has sold. In my opinion, they should have had Space Marine 1 available on day one with that release, you know, because if there are people that aren't interested in the multiplayer and they want to go back and play Space Marine 1, they can't unless they've got PC. So, right. Last leg of this journey. What we're going to do is we're going to clean up the all of the 6 weapons, and then that way we can pick which 4 we want. I kind of want to have the Fire Dragon holding the grenade and throw in. I mean, you can have them all like that, but yeah, I think that one's cool. That's the standout one for me. Cradling the fusion gun and about to lob the fusion grenade or whatever it's called, melter bomb. Right, that's the final head done. Right, let's work on these weapons then. Where's the one cradling? This one. Right, so we've got to get the right pose. That could be the one. Yeah, that's the one, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have this one because we're certain on this. I think the other weapon poses are all right. They're not too dissimilar. Did you miss the stream? Revan, my friend, you're the only one that asked me what time the stream was going to be, and I said about 10 o'clock, and so I rushed out of my gym jams and got on stream 5 hours ago. No, it's about 4 hours ago or so. Yeah, you kind of have missed it. It's all right though. I'm doing another one later. I can't give you a time. Yeah, I don't work like that. Sorry, my friend. I can't give you a time for later, but I will be on later. And it'll be the Malcador in Furnace. So if you want to join for that, or you want to chat, you're very welcome. So that'll be very, very good. Do you build to play or to collect? I buy for the channel. There's an answer you weren't expecting. Yeah, did I start at 10? 10-ish? Yeah, three and a bit hours. 3.5 hours. Ooh. I'm not that far from finishing though. Really. You know, I'll do that off stream, the shoulder pad thing with the Tamiya, and like a general cleanup. That looks quite cool. About to hurl a grenade. Overall build impression, yeah, they're all right. The Exarch took a bit longer than I thought. Fuegan, you missed Fuegan. I built all of Fuegan earlier as well. That was the first model I built. Fuegan went together quite well. I snapped a little bit of the ribbon off though. I told Maxim that, but that's towards the start of the stream when I was taking things off the sprue. And it's just one of these things where sometimes thin parts on sprues have like a breaking point where when you clip them off the sprue, that will engage, and it's a bit of a shame, but it just means that they'll snap where you weren't even cutting. So just yeah. It's not in every part. Like someone else's sprue, that might not happen to. But yeah, it happened on mine. It's fine. Just fixed it. His base was all right. There's a lot of mold lines on the fire pike weapon, Seer Song, I think it's called. But yeah, looks wise, I think he's probably my favourite. It's between him and Lickus, but I prefer him more because everything just sort of works for him, proportion wise. Whereas Lickus, her sword is, I can't get to grips with it. It's just too big and scythy. It just doesn't look like she can move it very quick, that's all. And warp spiders are pretty quick and sneaky. Well, the battery's lasted a long time throughout this stream, so I'm quite happy about that. A lot of questions, Vanilla. A lot of questions, man. Who's my favourite? Probably Vegeta. Okay, we're so close now. 3 more weapons to prepare. If I got another set, the thing is, because I've got some other fire dragons that are in in metal. Did they come out in Finecast? I don't know whether I picked up the ones in Finecast, you know. I can't remember. Probably not, but I'm going to have to look in my collection soon. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is because I've got some more, if I picked up another 5, I would probably build the Exarch with the axe. Because I don't think I have one with an axe. That's the main reason. Okay, so that is that. Well, hope you're having great days, enjoying your Sundays, whatever you're up to, like Warhammer wise or just chilling. If you're building or if you're painting. I'll be live streaming throughout this week, here and there. Nothing like too scheduled, but I'm just putting that out there that I will be. I'd like to live stream tomorrow, the Warp Spiders and the Swooping Hawks. I think I could build both of them in a single stream. Oh. Okay, so final piece. They're a nice unit. Don't know whether I prefer the Howling Banshees though. Thing is, I've never owned Warp Spiders before, so this is quite a monumental point for me and my Eldar collecting journey. Not even any metal ones or fine cast ones. Don't know why, just never got round to it. Like, I'm sure there's a couple of Orc units that I've never ever picked up. Right, that's those done. Now, just trying to have a feel of what weapons go where. So that is kind of pointing upwards. Could I have it like that? Yeah, that works. I'm happy with that pose. It's not overly apparent how the hand connects to the wrist. It's not like a plug and socket system. I mean, they're molded, but yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're aiming that weapon up. Like he's firing up at a knight, Imperial Knight or something. A bit of a wonk there, isn't he? None of the others on their box kind of posed like that. It's sort of like leaning a little bit over, isn't he? I'm trying to balance him out by bringing his weapon higher and his head back. That's the best I can do. He's on a wonk. It's fine. Okay, let's try this one. So this one. Has this one got his weapon up too? No, this one's that's a very good pose for this one. I like that. You never play against Eldar? Sorry for all the questions. It's all right. I like a lot of the questions. It keeps the stream entertaining. Gonna need a little bit of a wrist bandage there. Again, this one's firing. It's quite a cool pose. And then I want this one kind of on the side, so not really firing. Yeah, that works well. Or how about this one? No, first choice, I think. There. That's the look I was looking for. She's got the look. Yeah, kind of like looking back or looking at, I don't know where it's looking at, but I just wanted that kind of pose, really, rather than the two firing. So I've got one throwing a grenade, two firing, and one sort of looking back or looking somewhere. And then I've got the Exarch pointing. And there you go. All those spare parts right there. Fair few spare parts. I don't know if you could use them for anything. Maybe the axe. You've got a number of heads there. You've got this Exarch fusion gun, which looks like a longer version of theirs. You've got the fusion pistol. You've got a little bit of scenery. You've got, you know, a fair few parts there for the kit. But yeah. I will be back later. I'm going to have some food now and things because it's been a while. I'm going to go have some food. I'm going to go for a bit of a walk, and I will be back later this evening. As I say, I can't really tell you when, but I will be back. And of all you've built in the 2 days, which miniature is most impressive? Yeah, probably Lycus, but then the Fuegan. Like, what have I built? Like 8 minis in the last day. But yeah, I'll come back, and all of this Eldar stuff will be gone. Well, not properly gone, but we'll be building the Malcador Infernus. So a nice chilled Sunday afternoon evening, building a big old flame tank. We're carrying on the theme of fire, flame, orange today. So not only have we had the Fuegan and the fire dragons, we've now got Malcador and the Infernus. So yeah, it's quite a lit day, quite a fire day, hot day. So yeah. Right. Yeah, Titans is an army. Right. I'll pop off, and thanks ever so much, everyone. So I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully you join me in the live stream later on. But thank you for watching. Thanks for all your support and things and all the comments. It really means a lot. And I'll see you later on, probably. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching. The Emperor Protects.